Hello, this is Doretha Hoke with a popular press article review for week 4. The article I selected was from The Entrepreneur, and the title is Want to Build a High Performance Team? Start with Trust. I selected this article because I felt it had a direct relation to both the HBR and the 8 Behaviors article that we read this week. The HBR article made reference to familiarity being key in member selection, and when it broke it down, the effects of familiarity were trust and safety being two of the main components. And I thought that coincided very well with the Entrepreneur article. And because we have a certain degree of safety and trust among those that we've worked with in the past, being able to foster that relationship only strengthens the group. And without trust, there really isn't a true sense of team formed within a group. And that was made evident in the article with Ariba. Ariba was attempting to create a B2B e-commerce that and when they found when things did not go as they expected, people actually started doing their own thing versus going back to the confines of the group. And so they had to step back and see what the problem was and what hindered the group from success. And they were able to look at the research by Ernst and Young, who do global research, and they found that less than half of workers say they had trust in employers, colleagues, and bosses. And it also doesn't help if a customer can sense that the company doesn't have a certain degree of trust within it, because that doesn't warrant trust from the customer as well, which harkens back to the 8 behaviors, which included transparency and accountability. In order for them to build trust in the team, there had to be a culture of trust. Being able to set team rules that everyone was governed by was at the forefront. Knowing what to expect from each team member, as well as how each team member would treat each other, actually set things in motion. Ariba was able to come up with 3 major elements that they wanted to focus on. Integrity, respect, and courage were the building blocks they concentrated on in order to build a corporate culture that fostered trust. Integrity was the first. Ernst and Young found that integrity was the number one factor that influenced trust people had in companies. So being able to trust the company to do what they said they would do, and as well as trusting your teammates to do what they said that they were going to do, was very beneficial. Then respect, as Ernst and Young also found that was the number one factor that influenced trust towards bosses and colleagues, which was being respected. And we've all learned that diversity is the spice of life, and it has major benefits in the workplace. And with diversity, we're able to learn to respect each other, and we're able to learn to respect the differences that diversity brings to the team, and the value that diversity adds to having different backgrounds and inputs and different aspects to problems. And that diversity creates a great talent pool in which all the team members are able to benefit from. And then lastly, courage, which being able to create an environment that evokes safety to explore risk and openness to ideas is also important. Being able to safely explore ideas in a way to incorporate things that may not have come about otherwise, even through fails. When things fall apart, there's a level of education obtained that can help towards future approaches from learning from those failures. So just having the courage to, let things go as they may, was also necessary. In order to incorporate those values in a sustainable corporate culture, they had to find a way to make sure that those values were a part of the day-to-day actions. So they came up with 3 team rules. The first being always practice direct, open, and honest communication. Everyone has the opportunity to voice their opinions in the meetings. No one is shunned. No one is silenced. Everyone gets to have their say without interruption. That was one of the rules. And then the second rule was there was no dumb ideas, which it was never okay for anyone to come down on another person's idea, no matter how crazy it may seem to someone else. They all were respected with their ideas. And the third one is we are a team first and a functional specialist second. So no one part of the is greater than the whole team. So once they were able to implement those rules, they actually had some rather high functioning teams. And from those high functioning teams, they had some pretty good payoffs. That the company was able to double their revenues quarterly for their first 12 quarters, and they currently have 1.3 trillion of commerce going through their platform every year. So you could see that those little bit of changes made great strides for them in the long run. And I think that overall, them implementing trust actually created those results. And if trust was not among those things that they fostered, there was really no consistency of things that would come out of the group. So that is where they had those issues. So that is the end of my review on want to build a high performance team, start with trust. And I thank you for listening.